What's going on, people? Welcome back to another JSTV. Back again as the transfer show again, and lots of things going on for the past few days. Well, the last 24 hours, really, it's all about Kieran Trippier, Joelinton, and Onana as well. I've tried to get Paul on as well, sent him the link, but hoping to come on soon. I've got Everton fan with us. What's his name, mate?
Dan.
Dan. I keep going down. I know they call you Paul then. That's good. So I said, big up to Dan. Dan, good evening to you, man.
Dan the man.
Dan the man. I've got to call you Dan the man. How are you, man?
Doing?
You good?
Yeah, all good, mate. Not too bad, not too bad. A busy, well, not a stressful transfer window, not for good reasons for us, but you've told me to come on for your transfer window because you've been linked to one of our players. So yeah, we'll come on and we'll talk about that and talk about your other players.
Yeah, definitely.
Transfer window.
Cool stuff, cool stuff. Hurry up, Paul, waiting for you. Yeah, guys, like the video, like what you watch, make sure you hit the like, sub the channel as well. And if you'd like to become a member, the link's on top of the chat as well. Click on that. And it's 99p. And if super chats are at the bottom right-hand corner as well. Hi to Lorraine. Just leaving it here. I'm watching the football at the minute. Tony scores an absolute pearler, by the way. Wow. Welcome back, Ivan. Highly on pole position to sign Newcastle Sean Longstaff. Decided to spend 169 million. I looked to others, and I'm not sure if that's right. I'm not calling you a liar, Lorraine. I'm not, but I'm not sure about that one, but thanks anyway. Hi to Gary, hi to Tracy, a big Evertonian as well. Hi to Jules, please click the thumbs as well. That would be helpful. Thank you very much indeed. Hi to Gary, hi to Leslie, and hi to everyone in the chat as well. Hi to Jolly9 as well, by the way, top guy. And also got Mighty Mag as well. Dan, you're not getting an AG back. Definitely not. And we also got Jan as well. Big up Jan. And a big up to Jade as well. Hi to Jade. I hope you're having a fantastic day as well. Hi to Coffee. And Jolly, I'm not going to lie, guys. It's a sad day for you. Let Trippier go. We're going to discuss that right now. Big up to you, Paul. How are you doing? You good?
Not bad, Hugo.
Champion stuff. Stuff. And we've also got here is Eileen. Hi to Eileen. And hi to Jade from Stapes and Jules with Feared. Bang on the money. Right, we'll talk about it, right? And I've got Dan as well, Paul, and he's a great guy. What it is, right? I mean, all these rumours all over social media, all over the papers as well, like Kieran Trippier, linked to Bayern Munich, according to Fabrizio Romano, right? He's basically saying that talks are underway, and he says that, understand, Bayern approached Newcastle Kieran Trippier deal today. Talks have now started. And that is something a bit to Romano. Paul, is he going to leave Newcastle United now? Is his time up at Newcastle, or do you think he should stay?
It's a really strange one. It's another one that's come out of absolutely nowhere. Really, really odd for me that we would even consider Trippier. He was a person that kind of kicked off everything. Yes, he's had a few mistakes here and there, but I just find it odd how, and this is a problem with January. I've seen one report say that, yeah, he's talked to them and everything. I've seen another report saying that he hasn't talked to them. He doesn't want anything to do with them, and Newcastle don't want to sell him. It's just that usual sort of like one story, another story. I'd be shocked. I'd be really shocked if he went anywhere, because it's frustrating. Why would you want to sell one of your better players I don't even know what he would even gather for a fee. Like if they're saying it's going to be, transfer fee, what realistically, what can you even get for him? I'm not saying he's a bad player, but he is an older chap, and you're not going to get a big amount of money for him, really, in my opinion. Like, what do you reckon, John? 10 million? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not as if he's going to go for 50 or something. It's not going to go for a big chunk, and it's kind of you sold him for that small amount of cash to another club. His family moved back to England because they got fed up of living abroad also. So the reason they came back to Newcastle is because his wife said didn't want to live in Paris anymore, because they wanted to come back to England for schools and stuff. So again, it would be a bit of a surprise one where they come back here for that, and then out of nowhere they go back to another country. So yeah. I don't know. It just feels a bit random, but we know what football's like. I guess anything can happen, but
yeah. Crazy, man. Go through the comments as well before we go on to Dan's take. I feel strange as Trips can't play in the Champions League. Yes, he can, Gary. He can still play in the Champions League. If they offered 20 mil, it'll go according to Matty Mag9 as well. It'll go, I think the club would accept that for 20 million quid. Wimbish Trips as a leaders, yes. Who resists leadership? It's one thing that Newcastle don't want Trippier to go, but reports are saying Trippier is keen on the move. Does Trippier feel he's taking down what he could for Newcastle? For me, Coffee, listen, at the end of the day, right? I mean, there's a lot of things going on with his private life we're not going to go into because it's well documented on social media. We're not going to spout crap on here. There's just no way, right? Everyone can look for it for themselves, right? But yes, he's been making mistakes on the pitch. He hasn't been playing well. I can't lie. But at the end of the day, right, he's got to be happy playing on a football pitch. Yeah, there's a lot of things going on. I don't want him to leave. Going to Bayern on loan, in my opinion, doesn't make any sense to us whatsoever. But in my opinion, I think he's a victim of FFP. Now, I'm blaming the Premier League for this because we can't buy anyone until we sell a player, Dan. And for me, right, I'll put it down to the Premier League because there's FFP. What do you think, mate?
The thing is, you're talking to a professional with the FFP because we've been dealing with it for the last 2-3 seasons, and I don't think Trippier is going to help your FFP that much. Yes, he'll be a big wage off the bill, but you're not making a big profit on him. You're not making, in fact, you're losing on him. When you're looking to work with FFP, it's about buying a player cheap. Let's say you get an example, a player for 20 million and you sell him for 60, you're showing you're making a profit on the player. Now, I don't see that Kieran Trippier thing as an FFP thing. I just think that as a fan now, we all seen Trippier when your fans was getting onto Trippier on the video where he went to the fans and confronted them, saying we've got a lot of injuries and your fans was blaming him and stuff like that. Do you think that's a part of it? I mean, let's be honest with this. Do you think that's a big part of it? Do you think you rattled him? Do you think you frustrated him? Do you think you put him off? Because Kieran Trippier is a big part of Newcastle doing well, and it seems that you forgot that and you just jumped on him the moment you had loads of injuries and blamed him because he made a couple of mistakes. And it might bite you in the arse because he's a very good player, one of your best players over the last couple of seasons if you lose Trippier. So do you think that it's because of that? Do you think you put him off? I mean, do you think that it's because, like you've just said, the other part of FFP is where, do you think Trippier's a money man? And when he's come to Newcastle, he's been promised, because we've been in this situation, that great things are going to happen, and then all of a sudden he's found out that you're not going to spend much money now because of FFP, and he just wants to move on and ain't into the project that you've got now with FFP in consideration.
Yeah, I think I see what you mean. My opinion, I just blame the Premier League because they're the one to put this rule into place. We've got money, Dan. We have got the money, and Paul backs up with this. We've got money to spend. We can go out and spend 250 million in the summer if we need to. But unfortunately, the Premier League have stopped this because the
105 million.
You lose 105 million.
105 million. Don't matter how much you've got. Don't matter how much money you've got. We've learned that. We've had money at times, but Mashiri couldn't put it in. It's 105 million that they've put in place. And you've got to stick to that. And unless you're in that Super Six, they get a bit more than that and they get round it a little bit. But you've got no matter how much you've got to stick within that 105 million budget. And Brighton did it really well with
very well.
They tried to get players cheap, and then they make a lot of money on players. They use like transfers as a business of making money. So it maintains them well with the FFP. Brighton are a perfect model of it. Where you've done it, you've gone and brought a lot of you have brought some players for a lot of money, haven't you? Like if you think about it, you've brought how much did you spend on Isaac?
63 million with the
add-ons.
add-ons.
How much did you spend on Tonali?
We spent 55 million with the 52 million.
How much did you spend on Gamiras? Gamiras wasn't that bad, was he?
35 with the add-ons takes it to 40 mil.
Then Gordon for 40 mil, was it?
45.
And then Barnes was 25, not too bad on that one, was it?
38
So
million.
you have spent a lot of money that seems to be coming back to you now with the FFP, doesn't it?
Yeah, we've done about close to 400 M's. For 400 M's, 400 million deep. Yeah, and now we got to be so careful. You know what I mean? It is what it is. So goes to comments as well. Yeah, man, it's not good, isn't it? If Trippier wants to again, then Bayern Munich have to pay a loan, which doesn't suit us at all. Then, if he wants to be with Kane and Dyer, and they dimmed off and out, do we drop him? I mean, the thing is, though, if his man's not in it, right, when it comes to the next game against Fulham, right, I've been told by other non-Newcastle fans he needs to be dropped. That's what I was told by the other content as well, but that's for another time. That surprised me too, Gary. Yes, he can play in the Champions League if you go to Bayern. Tracy, will you learn something new every day, Tracy? That's from Gary. I always forgot age and transfer money. It's a backward step for Trip goals, full stop, but Bayern Munich are a huge club. They're a massive club. Let's be honest about that. Big up to Alan as well, Paul, in the chat. Newcastle's just said Trips is going nowhere. It depends what you read, Alan. Some are saying that Kieran Trippier's agreed to go, and the Sky is saying that he's going absolutely no madness. It is. We'll talk about Onana. It will be a madness. Hi to Jade again. Leadership, experience, sounds community. I don't see where this benefits us, particularly in January. I think Jules and Jade, in my opinion, I think he's a fit team with FFP. The Premier League's telling us we've got to sell someone to spend money. That's just my opinion, but I agree in a way. Trippier fan confrontation was just with one fan who later apologized online. I was at Bournemouth as well. We just need to be a little careful with this news in that we don't really know the truth. Gary, I totally agree. We just want to talk about Kieran Trippier, the footballer, and is he really going to move from Newcastle to Bayern? They do want him, but Trips might not have said anything. But we still got to discuss it. We had the same thing, exactly, Tracy, and with Everton as well. And ultimately, if Trips scores, it goes to utmost respect. Thanks and best wishes will always be a Newcastle legend for having faith in the project. Paul, I've got to agree with that, man. I mean, he can walk away his head on high. 2 seasons with us if he decides to go. You know what I mean? He's done nothing wrong. And, yeah, nobody bigger than the club, mate.
There's no one bigger than the club. He's not a Newcastle legend, though. I think that's a bit of a stretch.
That's cool. That's what Jules saying.
That's cool. I just don't think. I mean, I don't think it's a bit soon to be calling him a Newcastle legend. I think he's done a great job. Like I said, I'd be gutted if he went. But yeah, just that word just gets thrown around a bit too much for me. Shearer is a Newcastle legend. Peter Beardsley, Kieran Trippier. He would be in one of my favourite 11s, definitely. But I'd want him to stay for a bit longer to be considered, win something, to be considered some sort of legend. But he's done a really good job. Like I said, I think there's a lot of things in the column for him not going. As the person was saying about the confrontation, it was just one fan. We did like a little thing, like a little dedication to Trips after that happened. War flags and stuff, like stood behind him. He does appreciate the fans. He always, he's always speaking quite fondly of them. I think they've been made him feel very welcome. So I think he feels happy here. Like I said, the thing that that stops me from thinking there's much in it. Like I said, it's mainly the personal factor. Like I said, the fact that his wife wanted to move back from France because they were getting homesick. That's a big sell from Trippier if he's going to go. Oh, by the way, if you
he said France, he said France then from Spain.
Spain, sorry, Spain.
He's
got to sell from Spain to Germany. So he's got to work his magic if he does want to go, because he's got to convince her as well. So it's a bit of a big job there, because there's other factors to when it's a transfer. It's not just it's not just his decision at the end of the day. But yeah, I think the club would be mad, especially in January. I think it'd be a mad decision to do it, because who's replacing him? Do you know what I mean? If it does happen,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like I don't think we're getting a big fee for it. Who comes in for Trips then, or do we just not do anything?
Well, they've got one already. We've got Livramento. He can come straight in the right back. We've also got Kraft as well.
Yeah, but it's just kind
you're not Trippier You're not getting better than him. Like,
No.
you're not getting better than what he's been for you. When I've watched Newcastle and you've played the high line and you've pushed up, and you've even when you watch it against Man City and you've pushed up, the reason that your defence has been able to push up is because you've got a cracking right back like Trippier. I know he's been poor just recently. This might be a reason behind it, but he's been a massive part of your back line being able to push up and feel safe, because Trippier is a cracking right back, like him or not. He went and won a trophy before he come to you, Atletico Madrid, and then he's come to you. He's been one of your best up until this little patch where some of your fans have not liked him because he's made a couple of mistakes, but when he first joined, he's been amazing for you, and he'll be a big loss if you lose him. In my opinion, I know you might try and sugarcoat this and say you don't need him and you'll put someone in his position, but for me, the free kicks that he scored for you and the way he's played for you, Trippier's a big loss for you, I think, and I think it'll be worrying that he could go. I mean, there's also talks of Ramirez. I didn't listen afterwards, but he was also one talked about, because the rumour that got put out that I read, because I listen to all rumours on all football teams, not just Everton, but it said Newcastle might be in trouble with FFP and are looking to offload some of their players, some of their big players, which could be Isaac, Ramirez, and now you're saying Trippier as well. As a Newcastle fan, does this frighten you? Because you've gone from Champions League high to massive low now. Are you worried with this? Like, because the news that come out was Ramirez, then Isaac, and now Trippier. This must be scaring you as a fan, surely.
Crazy, isn't it?
Not me personally. No, not at all. I think a lot of this nonsense has come from a quote that Darren Neal has never said. This is a problem. A lot of this fear mongering from the media has come from a quote that Dan Eales didn't even say. He made reference to Coutinho's selling in the past for helping Liverpool out. He's made references to it, but he never came out and said you have to sell big stars to get ahead. And a lot of media have reported that he said this, like bluntly, and Newcastle fans as well have said this as well, which is not true. It's not even remotely true that he said this. And a lot of this has been sparked from that. The Bruno stuff is nonsense. You know, it really is. He's not going anywhere. You know, the club really don't want to sell him. He loves the club. I think that there's some sort of agreement with his with the contract that means it has to be an upfront fee anyway, which I don't know who can afford that much money up front. With Trippier, it's come out of nowhere. I'd be very surprised if they let that happen for any second, for any minute. But I guess things could happen in football. But I agree with you, mate. I don't even think it helps our FFP if he goes, because I don't think we make a profit on him. I'd be very surprised. And that was another rumour started by Arsenal fans. Arsenal fans were just getting annoyed and not scoring goals, and they made a rumour up that he was going there, which is rubbish. Absolute nonsense. And there's not even half a fire in that iron. There's been no official bid, no approach. Again, he's a player that's happy at Newcastle. The thing that annoys me is that threshold of like what you are and what aren't allowed to spend. When FFP came in, it was that 100, that 110. Then they've not thought of inflation. They haven't considered that at the moment. When it was brought in, it's been like, I can't remember what year it actually came in, but it's been a considerable amount of years since then. So 100 million back then probably was a lot of money. Whereas these days, 100 million buys you one Declan Rice. It buys you one Enzo. It buys you one, it doesn't buy you a lot. It buys you less than a Cancelo.
You won't like me saying this, but your fans coming at our fans saying, like, when we was holding the corruption stuff up, coming at our fans saying you was bringing banners, you was bringing signs yourself going against us for saying corruption. Come against you now. It's come back to haunt you now. Yeah, it's your fans saying to us, us saying that the league's corrupt and that it only benefits the big teams, the Super Six. It's come to haunt you now and taking the rip out of us for on strike, which you're going to be doing soon as well. Trust me, you'll be doing the same soon. You'll be putting the signs up as well because you tried to break the top six and it's bit you in the arse, and they made it impossible for you to do it as well because this 110, like you say, it's impossible. It is impossible to compete with the boys at the top when they're not allowing you to buy players and spend. And it's just the league. This is why we say corrupt. This is why these Everton fans are going crazy and shouting out, because I'm telling you, it's designed so only the Super 6 teams benefit, and they don't let you catch them. And you want to catch them, you've got this money in the bank, but you can't spend it, can you? Because they make it impossible.
This is the problem. That's the problem. I mean, the city's got to take over and say, okay, cool. You can buy the club, and then what we're going to do, we're going to find a different way as protecting the big six. And that's exactly what they've done. That's exactly what they've done. I think we'll probably do in the summer, we may spend 200 mil, just being hypothetically, right? 200 million quid, right? And then don't spend for another season or so. Do you know what I mean? But this FFP, Man City, I can tell you now, Man City did not want the FFP. And Carl and Martin, the Mancuso way, they said they did not want the FFP. They didn't want the FFP. Arsenal did. And I'm sure Liverpool did as well. And then the Premier League did something about it.
The thing is, though, John, if these, because these clubs they've already won the trophies and built up the money, they turn over a lot of money anyway, and they're already in control with it, where the teams below them that are trying to compete with them, they don't turn over as much money as them yet. So there's no way to get to it, and it's becoming impossible. And it will be the case, whether there's rivalry between Newcastle and Everton or not, it will be the case where a lot of teams eventually do come together and try and do something about it, because you're seeing Forest that's got pulled in with us now. It won't be long before you do. It could be Aston Villa as well. It's impossible for these teams trying to build their way up the table and compete. It's impossible for them to do so with the way the structure is with the FFP, in my opinion.
I'll tell you what, in my opinion, I don't want to say this, but I think the Super League is going to come in soon. I don't want the Super League to happen. It's going to come in soon, and I hope I'm wrong. Do you think Bayern would have approached the club without knowing anything for Trippier? No one don't know that one, Gary, but I'll be surprised. Big up to Shelly B, by the way. Hi to Shelly B. Hope you're okay. And do follow her on social media, Toon Chick 40. And I think it's Toon Chick 40. Yeah, Toon Chick 40. Not happening. Talked up media hype. It depends what you read, Shelly. I mean, according to Sky Sports, it's not happening. According to Graham Bailey, he said that's been agreed. And Goal.com has said the same thing as well. Believe in what you will. So the club's going to come out and tell us and say it's not going to happen, and just kill the speculation as well. Target's on 100k a week, and he's been injured. Jesus Christ on a bike, 100k a week,
mad,
and he's getting nuts. Who sanctioned this move? Who sanctioned that wages, man? Ooh, I tell you what, it's going to be hard to shift off the wage bill as well. Trippier's going for one final here. Payday is out of form. That's a big Morgan. Big up to you, my guy. I hope you're good. Trips will also know the money from his sale will help Newcastle to fund new players. That's from Jules. Trips to end his career at Newcastle and on to the coaching staff. Alan also said as well, get rid of the dead wood. And Jay said that'd be impossible as well. Agree. She agrees. Alan, hi to Kel and your family. Big up to Jules. Hi to you, mate. Hope you're well. The journalists are full of shite with Isak and Bruno. Do you know what? Isak's going nowhere. Bruno's going nowhere. Not this Jan window in any case. Jules is trying to, I like coffee. Yes, yeah, that's why Trips is because that's what they want. I'm sure in good time, Tiger will be moved, but depends if anyone even wants him. For me, when's the last time he played? That was against United in the Carabao Cup. And Salos on media writing, shite simple as we still got to discuss it. But I'm not going to make up stories. I'm not that sort of person who do that. Not on my channel, not on social media. I mean, a couple of them jumped on this today, and I just ignored them. I'm sick of all the shite rooms going around. Kelly, not on your own, mate. You're not on your own. Within a week, imagine this: we saw Isak, Bruno, and Trippier all in their transfer. That's not going to happen, see. And let Tuchel have Fraser and Hendrick, 2 for the price of the 1. You gotta love Alan. You gotta love Alan, haven't you? Big up to Tom, by the way, my guy, real one. He's the real one, yeah. Big up to him. Do follow him on Twitter, @Vigilante. And Gotta go. You take care, Johnny. You look after your nana as well, and make sure you get a full house as well, mate. Aren't we? And we aren't over 105 million threshold. You can lose. We are under, well under. I'm sure our owners and Darren Eels doing a good job. Next season, they will target Villa if they qualify for the Champions League. Cool. And yeah, what I'm going to say is, right, I mean, all this crap pull about Trippier making stuff up, right? I mean, there's lots of things. Go and check out on social media, right? You've seen it yourself, right? I mean, no one knows what's going on in his private life. I think they might be making things up as well, trying to unsettle the lad. What do you think, man?
Well, it's we've been there so many times. Not just Newcastle. Every club's been here. The media love to sell papers. They love to get clicks. And if you have a big star or a big player, it's always them that's, it's funny that Bayern Munich aren't interested in Ryan Fraser, for example, because it doesn't get as many clicks, it doesn't get as many likes. If it was Everton, it wouldn't be Seamus Coleman in shock move to Bayern Munich. It'd be Calvert-Lewin to shock. It'd be a big player, a big name that would get the clicks, get the people's eyes on it. They know what sells. They know what people want to see. And they just do. They've got. They had the whole. It turned Rooney's head in the past. If people remember that.
Yeah.
Rooney left Man United, and a lot of that was caused by the media hype. That had built up, and he did nearly go, and then it obviously got resolved. Gerrard is another one who nearly went. He nearly went to Chelsea. That was very close. Again, the media hype kind of bigged that up, and then he did nearly move. It happens everywhere. This is it's just part and parcel of this month and summer. It's always the same thing. Every player under the sun gets linked with someone. We've got more of a spotlight on us now because of the media attention we've got now, rather than we did when we had Ashley. And we have got players who can be sold. That's the other problem. We've got players who have played well, who can warrant a fee. In the past, no offense to the squad, we haven't had many players who can warrant a fee. In the nicest possible way. We played so bad that it wasn't, there wasn't much stories there, because who did we have to sell? Apart from Wijnaldum, which was probably one of our biggest assets that we had to get rid of because we wanted to fund the championship season. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's one of the biggest players that probably got sold from us in the recent future, because we haven't had the players who have stood up and done a job. It's just been, it hasn't been good enough, really. And like I said, I saw a comment in there earlier. In my opinion, rather than getting rid of Trippier and Isaac and all of this, I'd rather get rid of the 6, 7, 8 players that are still with us, who were with us in our first relegation. And they're still here, literally still in the club. Do you know what I mean? We're still suffering from the Maikashi days, even now. We need a lot of this people. They're not these people who they're not gonna step foot on the grass for us. Those are the people we need out more than people like Trippier and Isaac and Bruno, because they are who we want in the future. I mean, obviously Trippier not as much because he's getting older, but as someone said, maybe a wise head in the back or whatever one day. But I don't know. I don't know if that really happens or not. We'll see. But I don't know if Trippier does end his career here. Not because I don't want him to. I just don't know. I don't know whether it's one of those where if he wants to move in a couple of years' time, he's done his job here. Whether he doesn't say thanks and a nice sort of goodbye. I'd be surprised. Not because I don't want it to happen. I just don't think we're the club that Ian ends his career with. I'd be very surprised if that happened. It doesn't happen very often anymore, does it? Most players have that last little move.
Yeah.
I just hope it isn't an embarrassing one like Saudi Arabia or something. I'd be a bit gutted if it was somewhere like that for him.
Yeah, man, absolutely right. Totally agree there. But you know what? People are saying goal.com reckons he's been agreed, and others are saying Newcastle has jetted it out of hand as well. Who do we believe? What do we know? We have to wait and see. 20 Premier League clubs have support. Early takes 14 votes to pass the new rules. It's up to the vast majority of the club to change the rules. The big six are struggling at bits now. That's Gary B. Man City won't be charged by FFP. We did and then rules not going to change in August. The thing is, though, Tracy, we did a show, FFP show yesterday, and I tell you what, that is well worth watching. Yeah, check it out. I've got 2,000 views, nearly 2,000 views on that, and 25 new subscribers as well on the back of that. So thank you very much indeed for the two guys as well joining the chat as well. I don't know anyone that did that. Pretty sure everyone believes the Prem is corrupt. We know the Prem's corrupt, Jules. Everyone knows that. 73 people in the building. Thank you very much indeed. Make sure you hit the like button as well, please, guys, and make sure you super chat. If you want to super chat and give what the channel's worth, that's down to you. And if you'd like to become a member, the link to becoming a member is on top of the chat. It's easy, 99p. And let's go on to David. Hi to David. I think Trippier's going. It's a smart for several reasons. A, he's obviously not in the right frame of mind for reasons we do not know. And B, this is probably the last chance we can cash in on him given his age. Dan, if it was at Everton, if he played for Everton and Bayern came in for him, would you let him go? I don't think you would, wouldn't you?
No, we've got the same now with, there's like you said below, the rumours and stuff like that. You don't want to listen to them because we've just got a rumour today that Doucouré is going to Saudi. But we don't, obviously it's rumours for us. It says that the player to replace Henderson is going to be Doucouré. And Doucouré is pivotal for Everton. Yeah. He's good under our manager as well. And if we didn't keep Doucouré last season, Lampard wanted Doucouré gone. Doucouré kept us up last season. We could have gone down. So to put your value on your player for that, a player keeping us in the Premier League. And it's come out today that Doucouré, that it's the Saudi club's interested in Doucouré. So we don't believe that. You can't believe everything. And I just think, like I said to you earlier on, Doucouré is massive for us. We couldn't let him go. Although it makes sense because Doucouré is at 31 and to get money for him would be amazing at 31. If they offered 30 million for Doucouré, it's good financially for us on our books and stuff like that. There's that end where it's good, but then you also do think the other end, it's kind of similar with your Trippier situation. It's good because Trippier's old and if you got money for him, you got money for him. But on the other end, how important is that player to your club? Doucouré is massive for Everton, and I do believe that Trippier is massive for you as well. Although he's made a couple of mistakes, his experience, and he's a good player. He is a very, very good player, and I think to think that you don't need him would be. I can't see how you don't need Trippier. I just think he's a big part of your defence being good because sometimes you don't realise that your other three defenders at the side of Trippier have been good. They've pushed up and they've worked hard and worked together because of Trippier. He's probably been a massive part of your defence being good. You take him out of it, you lose a lot of experience, don't you? So he could be a big loss for you, I think, if you do lose him. Is it just rumours, though? We don't know. This is going to be the end. This is the bad thing about this window. For me as an Everton fan, John, this window, I just want it to close. Because I just want to keep my players, and I think you're getting the same now. It's getting scary. Normally you get excited about a window. You'd be thinking, are we buying him? Are we buying him? Yes, come on, let's buy some players and be amazing. Yeah. But this window seems more about scaring you. Can you keep hold of your players, or are you going to sell some of your players because of FFP? Because that's what it's like for me as a fan. And it sounded like it's been like that for you a little bit now as well.
Yeah, we're going to find out the hard way now, like, you know what I mean? But let's hope that Trippier don't get victimised because of FFP. I've always said they blame the Premier League. They brought this stupid rule in. But, yeah, it is what it is.
What about your manager? Why I'm on a little bit. I haven't spoke to you for a while. This is a catch-up. You have me on every so often.
Yeah.
The response that I get, because I don't follow Newcastle, I follow Everton. I'm all Everton, but sometimes stuff pops up on your Twitter and stuff like that. Eddie Howe, was you wanting him out?
Not me. I never wanted Eddie Howe out. I want him here for as long as way. But I've had other people on my channel, right? Like the two lads came on yesterday, Carl and Martin, Manquinho Weir. They said that Eddie Howe is not a big enough name to manage Newcastle United. You've got to attract the bigger players. If you're going to attract the big players, right? I'm going to hurt Eddie.
You can't afford because of FFP. Let's point that out.
I know. That I'm Eddie in all day. Paul backs up on this as well, right? But Paul, that was said yesterday. They think, right? They want a bigger name than Eddie Howe. I've asked them who should take his place then, and they both said Roberto Mancini because he's an agent manager.
Do you think you're trying to do too much too soon? Because Eddie Howe's come and he kept you up not long ago, kept you up. And he pulled this miracle off of getting you in the Champions League in the short space of time, which you probably would have said Champions League later on. You wouldn't have expected it so soon. Do you think now, because you've got Champions League, you think you're better than what you are before you've actually are that?
I think some fans are guilty of that. I think some fans are. I think there's a definite divide in the fan base for definite. It reminds me a little bit of when Mike Ashley was in charge, where you either got in trouble for going to games or you got in trouble for not going to games. You got in trouble for buying a shirt because you were giving money to Mike Ashley, or you got in trouble for not buying a shirt because you couldn't buy play, blah, blah, blah. There were so many arguments in the fan base when Mike Ashley was there. And then when the takeover first happened, everyone felt close and a bit more, the fan base kind of got together a bit more and a bit more behind the team. And then recently, like you say, like last year, I think we're victims of our own success, that some people wrongly thought that this season was going to be a carbon copy of last season. And we were just going to finish fourth or third, easy peasy, stroll through the Champions League, stroll through this, stroll through that. And I think they're wrong. They obviously are wrong. They haven't considered for a minute the amount of injuries we've had. Tonali being suspended it's huge. It's been bigger than people have realised how big that is. We've bought 2 full-time players for the squad in summer. Harvey Barnes, who's been out since literally his 4th game with a bad toe, and Tonali, who's been out because of a suspension. Those are the only 2 full-time players we really brought to our team. Yes, we brought in Livramento and Hall, but they weren't actually, I know Liverpool's played a lot more games, but those were brought in as future talent. We did spend money on them, but they were brought in as like future talent rather than actually talent for on the pitch now. So the 2 big players we did our big investment for, they've hardly played a game for us this season.
That's what I'm saying. Like, my point is, you've got Eddie Howe that's made a lot of players, in my opinion, that play way above them. He's getting more than 100% out of your players. He's getting maximum out of some of your players, where if you went and got some managers can't polish up these players that ain't that good and make them be the best they can be. And Eddie Howe, he has made a lot of players peak at Newcastle. A lot of players, every player that you've had, he's made your centre-back, Share, whoever you say, he's made him play really well. He's made Willett play well. He's made any of your players that was that used to play for Newcastle before you got your new signings, he made play really well. He's well known for bringing the best out of players that are average sometimes.
Yeah.
Some Joelinton, he's got the best out of him. You go and get some Hollywood manager now, you might not make some of these weaker players that you've got play as well. And it could really bite you. It's where you could go. You've got to be careful now for me, because Eddie Howe, he's been at the bottom and he knows how to work your way up. Do you know what I mean? From the bottom. You can get some big time manager now and you say, I don't think that's the way to go about it. I don't think you can do that with your FFP. Like, you go and get Mancini, and now we did it with Carlo Ancelotti. You go and get a manager in now, big time name, Carlo Ancelotti, like we had him. As soon as the money dried up and Carlo knew that he couldn't spend at Everton because of FFP, gone.
He's gone. So,
yeah. So that's the thing. Like, I just think Eddie Howe, with the way he's got you playing good football. I watched you against Man City, and not many teams take it to Man City like you did. I know, they ended up turning it around, but the way you took it to them first off, a lot of managers ain't got the bollocks to do that. A lot of managers won't take the game to him, and Eddie Howe does go for every game, and I don't think Eddie Howe's tactics has been your problem. I think the injuries have been the problem, and the fact that you wanted to get Eddie Howe out. I mean, what manager's going to look at the players that you've got with your injuries? You think Mancini's going to come in and work some of the players that you've got, some of these weaker players that you've had to put in because of your injuries? You ain't going to get a big time manager come in and do that. And he won't want those players either. That's the thing. So I couldn't believe that you wanted Eddie Howe out. I really couldn't want it. We spoke about him when I first come on your channel, when he got you in the Champions League, and to want him out that quick. So quick to turn, isn't it? That's the thing. Yeah.
Just before we go on to Onana, right, we are going to talk about Onana as well. Just one piece of news as well from Craig Hope as well. Now, I know people don't like him, but I'm going to say it, right? According to reports from Craig Hope, right, Paul, it's the headline saying Newcastle defender Kieran Trippier returns to New York holiday and a bid to seal the move to Bayern Munich, with the England star keen to reunite with former Tottenham teammates Harry Kane, Eric Dyer. That's what Craig Hope is saying now.
He loves a negative story, doesn't he, old Craigie? Loves a negative story. Loves it. I don't understand it. I don't understand this move at all. If it does happen, I don't understand it. I do not understand what the point of this is. Why does he want to go work with Kane and Dyer? Why? What do you mean? What's that got to do with anything? Don't get it. Don't get it. It's bizarre. I think whatever. If he goes, he goes, obviously. But for me, it'd be a weird one because unless they're offering us 50 million or something ridiculous, do you know what I mean? I just don't get it. I don't get it.
Do you think he's a money man?
I'll believe it when he's holding the scarf. I'll believe it when he's holding the scarf.
Yeah, that's very, very true. And you know what it is, right? That and also our interests of Joshua Kimmich as well. It is not their kit as well. So I thought, guys, I'll let you guys know now. As I'm not, that's not my news. That's Craig Hope's news, right? Don't shoot me. Don't shoot the messenger. Go and shoot. Going for Craig Hope as well. I've got the screen frozen as well, guys. So Paul, could you take over and talk about Onana? I mean, we've been linked to him for 50. Well, it'd be about 70 to 75 million quid. And can you see us? Can you still see us?
I can see you. I can't see Newcastle going in for him.
Nah. Well, that's according to reports from a few outlets yesterday that we're after him as well. Let's have a look. There you go. Yeah, I'm here. So, yeah, I mean, but we've got to talk about him, Paul, right? We come to Dan as well. And Nana, apparently, I love Joelinton to stay, but we have to make plans. If he does go, and I want Joelinton to sign a new deal, but would he be a perfect replacement for Joelinton if the Brazilian decide to move on?
Nope.
Not for you.
Not at all. I don't think he's anywhere near Joelinton. I think you put everything into re-signing him. What's the point? Why do you need a replacement when you've got someone in the perfect position who can do the job already? These sort of rumours do my head in. This is what I mean about this window. I hate this window. Try to get rid of Joelinton. It's so frustrating. We've got a player already who does that job, and Everton have got a great player in Onana who I don't see going. And again, it just disrupts. It disrupts Everton. It disrupts, Onana as a player probably who might see that and be like, am I linked now? I didn't. It's just it really annoys me when this happens, this sort of stuff, because I don't think there's any shred of truth in it at all. He's a great player, but for me, I just see him as a constant for Everton personally, because like you say, the fee they'd want would be astronomical, which is fair because he's a good player.
Yeah.
And Everton, again, if Everton want to progress as a club, you don't sell your best players. It's as simple as that, really, for me.
As an Everton fan, we're worried because obviously we've got this takeover at the minute that's trying to happen with 777 Partners, and we don't even know who our owner is. And look at the FFP, we've just got 10-point deduction. We're just building a stadium, and we're worried that we could sell any player. We're scared that players could go. We don't want to sell Onana. We don't want to sell Decore. We don't want to sell anyone. But we sold Iwobi and haven't even seen the Iwobi money. We don't know our financial situation, so it's scary for us. These rumours, for me, hope it's crap. Hope it's bull crap. I don't want Onana to leave. But on what you was just saying, Onana and Joelinton are two completely different players. Onana's a number 6 that sits in front of your defence. If anything, Onana's your trying to think of it. Who's the lad that's a twin that we was linked to? Who you got in centre of midfield?
For us, yeah.
Who's the centre? Sean
Longstaff.
Yeah, that's
John Longstaff.
Yeah, Longstaff. That's the one I'm thinking about. Yeah, that's Onana's position in front of the defence, like Longstaff. Joelinton plays a bit higher, doesn't he? He's more of an attacking mid. If anything, Joelinton's like a Decore player that
box to box,
attacking mid, box to box. Yeah. So Onana's not even. He's nothing like Joelinton. Nothing like it. And We don't want to let Onana. I don't want to let Onana go. Some Everton fans would snap your hands off because they're 50-50 on him. I wouldn't want Onana to go. I think it's pivotal for us because we ain't got a big squad. If you had Tonali, I don't think you'd even be looking at Onana.
100%.
I think that's your big problem. You've gone and it's bad, isn't it? You've gone and signed a player that you haven't looked into too much, and he's just about to get a gambling ban before you've signed him, and you spent 50 million on him. If you had him, I don't think you'd be looking at Onana. It's just to cover that Tonali thing, I think, not the Joelinton situation. I think it's to cover Tonali and add a bit of strength in there. That's the reason you got Tonali, because you can't just rely on Longstaff, can you? You need someone else in there. So I don't know. We don't know what's going to happen with this, but I can't see you spend Onana. We ain't going to want because Onana, since we've had him, because Everton haven't been doing well, every player that's good for us has been linked. Soon as Branthwaite plays well, linked to go. Soon as Onana plays well, linked to go. So if any player plays well for us, he gets linked. It might be bull crap, but I don't want Onana to go, and we ain't letting him go for no less than 50 million. Even if we're desperate, I think he's worth about 70, 80 million if you give him a year or two. So, and you ain't going to spend that, surely, John. Do you think you're in a situation where you could spend 50 million for Onana right now?
Can't do it. FFP, mate. FFP. Thanks to the Premier League. Blame the Premier League. Don't blame us. We got money. We've got money ready to go. But the Premier League has dampened any chance of us competing.
Get Shelby back.
No chance. No, not a chance. Bentaleb, no chance. Remember him, Bentaleb?
God.
Oh man, not for me. Not for me. Let's go for the comments, and I was right about Eddie bringing Joe White back. I heard it's been okay. I spoke to a few Crew fans. They said exactly the same thing, Kel. He's done really well. I said weeks on Toon Review, Gaza, he should be on the short list of targets along with Fofana of Monaco. Their stats trending in the right direction and plenty of scope for further development. Fofana looks a great player, good player. French international as well, good player. White's play for the second division though. He needs them to get game time as well. Gerrard was threatened. That's why he never left. The press are just trying to unsettle Newcastle as they have never else to report. That's from Alan. Alan, I normally agree with you, and I still agree with you as well. Bring it to Gordon White, by the way. Hope you're good, Gordon, mate. Trippier's private life should be private, and fans and the media should respect his privacy and not speculate about it. Thank you very much, Steve Coffey. That is a good point there. Thank you very much indeed for that. We're supposed to have no money, and now linked us with Edson and Onana. We're still going to discuss it, man. But I see your point, Ronald. Do you know what I mean? No, he's not for Newcastle fans TV. And to be a good leader, you have to have a good role model inside and outside of work. He's not a role model. There are better leaders in the team. And let's go on to I'm just chatting to Tracy as well, which is correct. And Tracy kind of agree. Not sure about your guess, but this is personal issues, I believe, and hence it seems he's running from something. I don't believe this is football related. We are creatures and habits. And I'm trying to get go second. It's personal. Newcastle don't dissell, but if he wants to go, it's personal issues or FFP. If it's personal, then cool. Then we have to expect that, Tom. We have to expect that, mate. Do you know what I mean? But if it's personal, then it's not FFP. I do apologize. Need to get rid of the deadwood and probably one big player off the books to help with financial headroom as well. That's from JJ. No one bar deadwood. That's from Jade. This is harming us massively with reusing finances. And then Lauren said trips. Issue sounds more likely to be personal rather than the club related, but no one knows until they want to know with official announcements. Well said, Lauren. Well said. Because you know what it is, right? Nobody knows, Paul. Nobody really knows what's going on behind the scenes.
And no offense, I don't care. Like, in the nicest possible way, I'm not here because I want to know about Kieran Trippier's personal life. That's got it's none of my business. Just as much as my personal life isn't any of his business. I care about what he does on the pitch, and I care what he has influence on the squad. That's what Kieran Trippier is to me. Again, it's not just Newcastle or Trippier. This is another thing that's crept into any form of celebrity, including football, where the media want to get into every nook and cranny of your personal life as well, and don't want to give you any minute of privacy. And it's bizarre. You know, if there was genuine issues between him and his wife, who knows if that's true or not? That's him to deal with. It's got nothing to do with what, you know. It's nothing to do with me personally. I can't go and help. You know, what me to, you know, it's so weird, and it's like I said, it's not just football. It's every aspect. You know, celebrities, Hollywood, you see all that. You know, anything like that. Race car drivers, all of it. Golfers, etc., etc. They're all, you know, their personal life just seems to be up for grabs. When it comes to it, it's, you know, it's all backwards. We're getting into more of a, you know, worldwide issue there when it comes to that sort of stuff, because at the end of the day, I don't really care. I just want Trippier to do well on the pitch, and I want him to be a good influence on the dressing room. If he needs time off for personal issues, that's for him and the club to talk about, no one else. But this is the problem with the paper and with, you know, with Twitter and whatever. This is what sells and gets clicks, because people are bizarrely interested in it. They're interested in what's going on in a marriage. They're interested in who's cheating on who or whatever. Where, I mean, yeah, like I said, me personally, I couldn't care less.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, there's not sure about this one. Like Sean Longstaff, the Saudi club, be paying 169 mil. Not sure about that one, but it's nice to get one or two jokes in as well. Sorry, I've looked, but I can't find it anywhere at all. Let's just chat to Jid, and let's have it as well. Right, there's a comment in there which I'm not going to read. I'll actually blot on Twitter as well. If Trippier's had the chance to go to Bayern, then he should. Doesn't have many years left. Kane Dyer, he knows they'll win trophies every year. He'd be long retired by the time we compete for major trophies. Could be right there, Foxy could be right, but if he goes, he goes. No one ain't bigger than the club, and that's how it is. Because of what I am. I like that, Gary. I like that. Loads of comments here. Keep them coming in, man. We have Tino, who has been about as good as Trips. And it seems to me that we're writing off the season ahead of the summer rebuild. And go for it as well. Eddie's going nowhere. Sorry. I've got to agree. If Alan speaks, we've got to listen to Alan. I agree. Eddie Howe's very short name, to be fair. And go Leslie as well. In Eddie we trust, he is staying. Absolutely, Shelley. We spoke about it loads of times. We haven't broke FFP. We don't need to sell. We weren't never planning on buying big this summer anyways, until we have so many injuries. We have some big finance to be added in the summer. Seller, Adidas, Champions League. Yeah, that's very, very true. So go back to Onana quickly, Dan. You can't see him going anywhere in the summer then, this January window or the summer, because I think he'll stay.
Well, we are desperate. We are desperate to our financial situation. If clubs come in with the money that they want, they might just take it and completely destroy our club. So we are worried, mate, because although we spent nothing, we have spent. We're 18th on spending. So we're doing everything to work with FFP. This is how scary it is. If you look, we're 18th. There's only like frigging 2 teams below us on spending the last 3 years, and we're still getting done FFP. So it's hard. It is hard, and you might have it coming yourself. They are looking on changing the rules, probably just for Man City by the sounds of it. When they actually get to do their actual thing, they'll get their hearing when the rules have changed. But at the minute, it's hard. It is very, very hard at the minute as a fan to work within these rules to bring in players. And like you've just said, you mentioned it earlier. The problem with Newcastle is when these owners took over Newcastle, not in a rude way, you had not very good players. So none of those players that you sold, you got nothing for. You had no value. Yeah. It's like when you come into Newcastle, if you had players that was worth money, you could have built them up and sold them. If there was loads of potential, Newcastle was that bad when your owners come in. Your owners couldn't make these players good and sell them for a lot of money. There was nothing. You didn't really have much academy either that you could build up and sell. That's Absolutely. What we've done well. We did it with Gordon. I mean, you laugh at us selling Gordon, but we did it to work with FFP. We got 40 million from it, and it helped us. And that's what situation you might be in now. You might have to sell players that you don't massively want to balance the books and stuff like that. We had to sell Gordon. We was forced to sell Gordon. We was forced to sell Richarlison, and we was forced to sell Iwobi. So I'm telling you now, Everton fans have been through this, and you might go through it yourself now. You might find yourself seeing players go that you're scared of. I mean, we all liked Richarlison. We loved him. We had to sell him for 60 million. Could have got more, but FFP made us sell him very quick. We liked we Gordon. We didn't mind. I mean, your fans will hear that we had problems with him. He just wanted to go, but we had to sell him, and we didn't really get no one else after him just to go to FFP. And then Iwobi, 22 million, we had to sell in just to go. You might have some dodgy times coming up with this FFP where you've just got to literally get your players. You probably think this yourself now. You probably just want the transfer window to close, not lose your players, and get your players back that have been injured and finish the league strong with what you've got. This is a question to you now, John. And Ladley, I've got your name. What's your name again? Paul. John and Paul, a question to you now. Would you take the window closing now without signing anyone and keep the players you've got, or would you sell players? Which way round would you do it? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, would you rather sign players or just close the window and keep what you got?
Close and keep.
Yeah, definitely close and keep, because for me, I'd rather keep what we've got, and I'd rather wait till the summer, keep it powder dry, and go for someone in the summer, because we don't really need anyone at the minute. Make one signing, a number 6. That's all we need, a number 6, and that is it.
I think you've got it surely as Newcastle fans. I know some of your fans are expecting way too much, and you get it in all fan bases, but surely you've got to be really happy with how you've done this season with that many injuries.
Unbelievable. I think it's unbelievable.
I can't believe where you are in the table. Like even you've had a really bad patch now, but you're still in a decent position in the table to compete with the injuries that you've had, with no Barnes, no Tonali, all these players that you're going to have next season, and you've had players injured in defence, and Botman's been out and stuff like that. You've done really well with injuries. I think you've done well with injuries. But then you want to do better.
We were a dodgy penalty away from qualifying from the Champions League.
Exactly.
We were a dodgy penalty away from that, because I still stand by this. If we win at PSG, we don't go with the same tactics at Milan. We don't. At St. James's, I think we probably draw that game rather than try and go gun-ho and then we get through anyway. We were a bad header. Sorry, Trips. It was a bad header. We were a bad header away from getting through to the semi-finals. No offense to Middlesbrough. I think we beat Middlesbrough to get through to the final. Not saying we're winning it, but, we'll get through to a final. More likely Liverpool. Yeah, all right. Probably Liverpool win on the day, but it's another final we've got to. FA Cup, who knows? We've got Fulham to come up. If we beat them, then you just don't know. It's luck of the draw and who you get and how, what teams get played. So we've done all right there so far. Obviously, not getting ahead of myself because Fulham are a good side. They showed that against Arsenal.
Right.
They're a decent side, so they could knock us out for definite. So I'm not getting my chickens in a row there. So you've done well then. Like you said, mate, where, we're not exactly where we want to be, but considering where the injuries are and where people are hopefully, as it sounds, people are coming back, February looks like it's going to be a much more positive month for us by the sounds of it. Obviously, this does change sporadically, but it sounds like by at least February, you'd have Willock, Harvey Barnes, and Elliot Anderson back in the squad, and probably Jacob Murphy maybe in around February. So you're coming back to that, more full strength squad.
Where are you in the league now? What position are you in, John?
10th.
10th, yeah.
10th. Like if you can be sitting 10th now and you've got your players to come back, you can have a good push second half of the season with your players coming back. So I don't think with the injuries you've had, I really don't think that's a bad position for you to be sitting in, especially with you. The only reason you're sitting 10th is because you've had a bit of bad form the last couple of weeks over the Christmas period and stuff like that. Otherwise, you'd be probably 6th or 7th. So it's not that bad for you. But the problem is it's made you greedy. Last season, you was winning a lot of games. You was competing top 4, and people want that again. But then you've got to realise what's going on. You've got to look at your injuries and realise what's going on.
What proves to me is that we've had the time. So before the Man City game, we had that time off that we would have had last season with that proper week off of a proper week in the training ground, which we haven't had a lot. Since we had that, we played a lot better against Man City because we had that time to rest and recover. Like, I still think that when we come back against Fulham, we'll look better again because we would have had time off and time to actually get the plan for the match.
You've had a lot of games. You've had Champions. You've had to deal with Champions League and the league with a very, very thin squad, and you haven't been able to rotate your wingers. You've had to burn them out. Like, you've only got Almiron and Gordon. That's it. You ain't got Barnes to put in for competition, and your striker. You've had Wilson's been out, Anti as well. You've got no rotation in strikers. Your midfielders, obviously, you ain't got Tonali to rotate your midfielders, and Botman's been out as well. So you've had to play Lascelles as well in defence. Yeah, so it's not gone right for you. And I just think you need to calm down and stop thinking too much. The fact that you wanted them, I say it again, the fact you wanted to change your manager, the manager that's working his arse off to play around with all these injuries, that's the hardest job going at the minute with how many injuries you've got. Your fans need to calm down a little bit for me. I don't know. I'm just, in my opinion, that is, as an Everton fan, I don't know how you feel to your fans. I know my fans, sometimes I think, bloody hell, you're thinking different to me, but
no, I agree, mate. I feel that me and John have been very consistent on Eddie Howe. I've never wanted him to leave the club, ever. I've never uttered those words. I've seen other podcasts go in and out with that narrative. Sometimes stick with him, sometimes want him out, sometimes say he's lost his way or whatever. But for me, I agree with everything you said, that for what he's had to go up against, we've done all right. We've had to cope with some things. Eddie Howe has made mistakes, of course he has, but what manager doesn't? Pep Guardiola makes mistakes, and he's one of the best managers on the planet. Every manager makes mistakes, and it doesn't matter when some of the fans, not all the fans, some of them, this is every fan base. Some of our fans they're idiots. They really are. They think we're going to be winning in the league, or we're going to be doing this. No, we're not. We're not even close to that. You can see the levels.
We did it under. We had Mashiri come in with all this money. And you get excited and you think that you've got this, that, and the other, and you want to do all these things too soon, trying to run before you walk. And and it's not. It doesn't go that way. It doesn't go that way. I think, like I say, you're a project that's going to take a long time, and because you've got Champions League straight away, your club wants to win this, win that, and it's you're not going to do it that quick. I think you've got to be patient with your manager, because it could bite you in the arse. Imagine if you got rid of Eddie Howe and you got another manager in, and it happened like Chelsea. We've seen how it went with Chelsea. Chelsea have got all those players, and then it was awful. I think there was like 15 Chelsea last season or something like that, wasn't there? It was awful. It might be like that for you if you start thinking like change manager, because that was Everton's biggest problem. We kept changing a manager all the time. Every time something went wrong, we got angry. We changed the manager, and then you'll get a new manager in now that will come and get different players, different tactics to Eddie Howe, and he'll put his implement into your club, and then you'll get rid of him. Then you'll get another manager that will bring his players in, and you're going to end up in a proper mess. The best thing you can do for me is just stick with your manager, stick by him, let him keep his style of football, let you get your players back, and then stick by Eddie Howe, because Eddie Howe's a good manager.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. Go for the comments. Going to wrap up the show very soon. We're going to bounce to bits. I'll go for the comments so if I can get a chance. Go on to Jade. We are bound by the wrong contracts and wages. Mike Ashley gave to the players. We have tools we don't want, but refuse to leave as clubs don't want them and won't pay their wages. This is a major chain holders back, Jade. Well said. And I think Leslie agree as well. Eddie will be a big name manager. He's still young. Alan's chatting to Gary. Most of the Newcastle fans don't want how out. It's a small percent of them want them gone. And got one here from Les. Agreeing with Jade. BWS, don't know what I mean. Trips and his family struggle being abroad at Madrid is not happening. That's from Kel. Craig Hope is the best journalist covering our club. You're wrong. Hope is critical where it needs to be. He isn't a bin influencer. He's a proper journal. You're far too swayed by YouTube vloggers.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
Fair enough. And Lawrence chatting to Les. And the chap in the blue does all the great deal of rubbish. At least he's consistent with it. That's from JJ.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And JJ, I quite like Hawk too. Don't like the rag he writes, but I do enjoy his YouTube channel as well. And also, if we sold Joelinton, it would be like when Spurs let their belly go. Then Belly was a cracking player, by the way. And let's go on to Longside isn't at 6. Thing is, though, we get a better player for Longside. No disrespect to Sean, right? I like Sean, but if we can get someone at levels above him, then I'll be happy. But
who's your defensive midfielder if Longstaff's not? Who's your defensive midfielder?
Yeah, he's a CDM.
Who is Longstaff?
Yeah, he's CDM.
The comment said he's not a 6. I'm just thinking, like, if Longstaff's not your defensive midfielder, who is?
That's the thing. We haven't got one, haven't we? Earlier, Joelinton's a box-to-box player. He can play box-to-box, so he can play anywhere in the midfield. Sean Longstaff is good in the CDM, I guess. But what do you think, Paul? Sean Longstaff?
Well, we don't. It's famous. We just don't have the player in that position. As Alan's quite correctly said, that Tonali isn't a natural 6. He's better, as I agree 100% with every word of that. We don't have a natural player really, like good enough who can play in that role that we need. We need to really look at that when we can spend money. That is one of the biggest positions we need to look at, is that holding person who can sit there, because we don't have someone who's naturally good at that position in the club. Yeah, we have players who can play there. I'm not saying we don't have players who can play in that position, but no one who's going to do a very consistent high level job. We have got, like I say, we have got players who do sit there. But for me, we need someone who's actually, that's their job. That's their job to do it. But again, it's just whether we can spend the money or not. That's the worry, isn't it? It's just because it's our biggest thing. The biggest thing this season, and at some points last season, the biggest thing that we get played through midfield way too easy. It's at times it's embarrassing how easy it is.
Yeah.
One ball even from Sunderland, this happened. And Sunderland weren't very good against us, but again, one ball did the whole of midfield. One.
Yeah.
It does sound like, with what we've said, it does sound like you need a player like Onana, which is scaring me. But because you just said you do need a player like Onana. He's a fast cover you, swoop, get that tackling last minute when you're getting done on the counter. But you're not having it. But you're not having Onana. But it does sound like you do need someone like Onana by what you're saying. You're crying out for a player like Onana. Like you just said, you haven't got enough. This is why the rumours come out. They've probably looked at Newcastle and they see you haven't got a number 6. And then they think, what number 6s are going about? Everybody they've linked Onana to. They've linked him to every team. So let's just link Onana to Newcastle.
Yeah. It is. Tom's got one message for you as well. This Everton fan needs to remember FFP is corrupt and Everton need as many allies in club in Premier League as possible. Your enemy is my enemy, and therefore you are my friend. True.
Told you. I did say to you, I said a lot of clubs have took the piss out of Everton, and they've been against us, and they've all laughed at us. We've seen a lot laugh at us, and then all of a sudden you see they're struggling with FFP as well. You join the party, and it's funny when it's another club and you laugh at them, but when it comes to yourself, and then you struggle with it, because a lot of clubs laughed at us, and some of your Newcastle fans probably thought, Everton moaning about FFP because it wasn't affecting you, but now it's affecting you. You're moaning as well. And now it's affecting Nottingham Forest. They're moaning as well. And it will affect a lot of clubs because, like I've said this, it's not designed so we can also to compete with the top 6, the Super 6. We need to buy players. The market is so expensive that if you go and try and buy a half-decent player now, you're spending 50 million easy just for a half-decent player to add to your squad. You go and sign a player for 50 million. To keep in that 110, it's impossible. We're trying to keep in 110 whilst building a stadium, and all of a sudden they've tried to do this thing where the stadium costs add to this FFP as well. So we're fighting a crazy battle at the minute. They're making it impossible for Everton to better themselves, and they're making it impossible for you to better yourselves, and they're doing it with a lot of people, FFP. So it will come to some point where whether I know Newcastle don't like Everton, Everton don't like them at the minute. We get on, like, but I know a lot of them clash. But it will come to a point where fans will have to come together and go at this Premier League, because the Super Six, they all wanted to leave the Premier League and they get treated like royalty. And the teams like us, Newcastle, Everton, Forest, it'll be Villa next. It'll be someone else that can't even sign players. We can't do anything. We can't. We've got our hands tied behind the back. You want to go and sign some players now this winter, but you can't because of FFP. We want to, but we can't because of FFP.
Yeah.
So it needs to be addressed at some point. It will be. It will be, because we're talking about it now. John, you've come on and you've said FFP, FFP, FFP. You talk about Onana, but you say no because of FFP. You talk about Trippier, you're saying that, we might need to get rid of Trippier because of FFP. Same with Everton. We might need to get rid of Onana to balance the books. We might need to get rid of Decoy to balance the books. We're talking about FFP more than what we're talking about football. Yeah. And it's killing football, mate. It is killing football. Yeah. So eventually,
you're right.
Fans are going to have to step up and call this out.
You got cracks like Masters coming out calling Everton small club.
Yeah, I've heard that. I think that's disgrace. It should be sat for that. It should be sat for that, man.
Because they want to keep they'll want to keep clubs like Newcastle and Everton, and they want to keep them down at the bottom, and they want to lick other clubs' arses, mate. That's the problem. So you've got that's who we're working with. Someone like Masters that only has his favourites.
Yeah.
And it's hard to get into that top six, Super Six, when when they've got the favourites and the rules benefit the favourites and not us.
Yeah. Listen, we go good for the comments. You're going to wrap up the show, yeah? So we'll go for the comments, going to wrap up the show as well. For me, 2 loans in Jan and a 6 and a striker. Alan, if you can get those for me, do you know what? I'll be celebrating. That'll be a lot to ask. But I love your ambition, though, Alan. But there you go. Bonds and Ali is 90 mil. They were barely seen. Yeah, one's got back till next season. Bonds out injured. And it's gone to Ian. Should be likely signings. One was talking about snooker. Salvador Dingen and snooker semi-final. We'd like to see a fit Bonds on the left side going on the right. Ian, you're absolutely correct. At the scores, we didn't want Howard again, just dickheads. You know, right? You're right again. You're right. Fans just get frustrated sometimes and fend off, just like the lad with Trips. You aren't expecting to win this and that yet. We are hoping to win something as well. Thank you, Jules. I appreciate your support, man. And if it's a try to Jules. Try to Matty again and just go first. Well, for that close to shore. Everton, hi to everybody and take care as well. We don't have a CDM. We need one. We place a 6 more. I like him to go forward a little bit. Big up to Louis as well. Shout out to closer we have. Thank you, Mr. Little. And good at defense. It doesn't have the size and physique. Louis, I take your point as well and respect your opinion as well. We are supposed to have someone from the 3 minutes holds the DM, but we can play a flat 3. That's why we've done recently. I'd rather take a CDM. You know what, Gary? You're correct. You can't get it now if we don't have the money. And we take who we want. We take who we want. I see him McKenna.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
Whatever. We laughed at us when we were the relegation side.
Surely you like it's. We've been linked to him. And I wouldn't mind him, but I don't think he'll go to Everton. No chance. But you've got a chance of getting him. Surely Kevin Phillips is a massive one that you would want from Man City.
Exactly. And one more comment.
I don't.
No.
Kevin Phillips, no rate him.
No, not now. Just one more comment before we wrap the show. I think what happened to Everton via points is shocking. Nothing will happen to the Big Six. They want us selling all ours to them. Great chat, lads. Have a great weekend. Thank you very much, DK. And I'm sorry I can't get to any other comments as well. And I really appreciate your comments. And I also read it on a rerun as well. And go wrap the show there. And thanks so much, guys, for coming on to the chat as well. And Dan, where can we find you, mate, on your socials, man? So people can follow you.
Toffee Bluecast, that's what my channel's called. Me and Paul always on it. We do it together. Everton channel. We're there before games, after games, and we are growing. We've only been going 1 season, so we're on just gone over 500 subscribers, and we'll hit 1,000 very soon. So if you can subscribe on Toffee Bluecast, hit it. We've got some good guests coming up on ours as well. To be fair, we've got some reporters and ex-players coming on soon. So if you can jump on ours and hit subscribe, we are on the rise, Toffee Bluecast. And jump on it and subscribe if you can, please.
Fantastic stuff. And we can find Ian on Blank Canvas PC on social media. I called Paul on Blank Canvas PC. I do apologise. That's Alan again, didn't I? Sorry.
Yeah, me.
Sorry. He has to change to Alan in the future. And what about it's got to be the last one? Foxy, FFP is needed for the good of the game, even if it won't benefit us. But these players' prices can't continue. Average players for 800 million plus is ridiculous. Yep, you are so right, Foxy. You are so right. So we're going to end the show there. I'll be back tomorrow, and I'm going to try and get Nikki on my show tomorrow for the football show. And if you like the video, like what you watch, like and subscribe. I will do YouTube backstage. And as always,